Welcome back, everybody, to another interview on the PeekDatChu channel. Excited to have this conversation today. I know it's been about a month since we did our last interview, so I'm trying to get these out a bit more often. But the good thing is, guys, as I've always told you, it's sort of quality over quantity, a lot of the time. And today, I think, definitely meets that criteria. I'm happy today for us to be able to talk to Minh, the founder of GradedGuard. Really excited to talk through, as we were talking a bit pre-stream, some of the history, and where you guys are at in 2026. I mean, it's kind of mind blowing to kind of see what GradedGuard's growth has been, honestly. And I'm sure there's been plenty of times where you sort of pinch yourself thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But thank you so much, man, for coming on and
Yeah.
spending time. Also,
Hello,
congrats
everyone.
on marriage. That's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How is everything going with you? I guess before we really jump in, I know that we were talking about your crazy travel schedule coming up, but
Mhm.
overall, how tired are you? I guess we'll start with.
Always tired, but always, still looking forward to the next thing. So it really just kind of keeps me going. We always have something going on one way or another. So yeah, I'm still pretty involved, right? So whether it's at the high level or for smaller things, in the line of like operations or just small daily things that people need a more hands-on approach with, like I'm pretty involved, so tired but busy. And I
Yeah,
always think busy is good, so I don't really like not being busy.
very true. I would much rather be tired from being busy than tired from being bored. So that's
Sure,
and I know
yeah.
you are not bored because you are a
Haven't
very
been
very
bored in a long time.
well. That's yeah. I mean, it's so. I was telling you a little bit. I mean, it's sort of crazy to see what Graded Guard has done, especially with sort of the product line, that you're in. Because I was thinking a bit before we jumped on about, kind of like your Shark Tank style, like, product
Sure.
pitches and things like that. And, one of the things I always think about is when people go, I always like quoting Kevin O'Leary. He's one of my favorite people on there. He's like, you're going to get destroyed like the cockroach you are because there's so much competition. People are going to rip
Yeah,
this off and change it. So, I definitely want to talk through kind of how you guys have been able to really sustain the brand. I mean, there's so many copycats of what Grady Guard is,
sure.
and
Yeah.
no offense to anyone else, who does those product lines. They've also built great brands, but I think anyone watching this, live or watching this back, understands that Grady Guard is the market leader, in what you guys provide as a product and also a brand. But kind of before we get there, I'm curious. I know you've talked about this before, but how did Grade Guard come about? I know that it was kind of during COVID and you were doing some things, so I'd love to hear that kind of
Sure.
overview of how you guys got started.
Yeah, I mean, basically, during COVID was kind of my exploratory, what do I want to do with my life phase. And that consisted of a lot of, I guess now it feels early, buying and selling of cards, right? And grading and kind of getting involved in the hobby in general. And I'd been pretty involved since about 2016, 2017. So I've kind of seen it all, right, over the last decade. Um, maybe that's a cautionary tale for what's happening right now, but who knows? But I was basically just kind of supporting myself through that. Really wanted to think of something that I could do. I had just left like my last corporate job as a data analyst, and it really just kind of happened. I was having a coffee with one of my buddies, Professor O'Callaghan, Mike, awesome guy. I've known him for the better part of 10 years now, and we were just comparing cards. And it's crazy because I don't think I have a single card that I had brought to that meetup anymore, because we were like,
Mhm.
oh, let's like compare our base set cards and our shadowless and our first edition cards, because I had sold a lot of cards to kind of go on this venture. But yeah, we were just talking displays and how people interact with graded cards in general. And we were looking at, like, we really just kind of got talking, and we were chatting about existing options, right? Screw downs with like pegs for top loaders and things like that, and how basically nothing really existed for graded cards yet. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I'm taking screenshots of like phone cases and kind of like mocking up how that design could work when applied to a graded card. And I mean, I spent the better part of a year and a half after that prototyping, figuring it out, finding a manufacturer, getting our patents rolling and everything. again with no clear idea of where it could go. Right? It's like here's pure pre-prep work to see if this goes anywhere, and yeah, the rest is history, I guess. After that,
Well, I love, it's sort of the grassroots like conversation, right? And that's something that I think a lot of us in the space. I mean, I'm working on some things too behind the scenes, like for building something for this hobby, and it's
yeah.
interesting with, I'll to be completely transparent, you were sort of an inspiration for that,
Thank you.
and GradedGuard in general, just because one of the things I think is such a unique, or that made it such unique ideas. It's one thing to say like, hey, we need something for graded cards, but to also have a product that you guys have launched and seeing what grading scale looks like today. I mean, how many
Yeah.
cards compared to, I've been in since about late 2017, 2018. And when you said
Yep.
10 years, I'm like, it's been like 4 years. Like there's no way. But yeah, we're basically Pokey
It's
movers
a
at this
long
point.
time. Yeah.
It is. It is. And I remember hearing, oh, they're grading 50,000 cards, a month or something. And that was crazy. And now it's like, if they did that, we'd have 5-year turnaround times for bulk at this point. So
Yeah.
it's
A
kind of
million's not
amazing.
enough, it seems. Got to keep it cranking.
Oh, I know, but one thing that I really, really like is you've sort of been able to latch on to the grading volume momentum, because ultimately, and I was talking with
Hmm.
one of my friends the other day about this, is that the more cards that are graded, the more graded guards are needed, right? And you guys have done a really good job as presenting your brand and making that almost like a part of the experience of like especially with like the limited drops and different things like that. I put a
Yeah.
couple of like I put one of my
I
cases back
love
here
it.
for you. And the Year of the Horse, by the way, amazing. Whoever made the design and everything for that,
Thank
it's one of
you.
my
My
favorite.
wife did the packaging design and
Well,
everything.
the packaging is
Yeah.
amazing. Like I still kept a few clothes just because I love the packaging so much.
We
But
heard a lot of that, which we love, and we'd like to provide more things like that in the future. So we're happy the feedback was so good for the
yeah,
packaging.
give her the kudos. It's one of the best
Yeah,
packaging I've seen. So, but it is interesting to that you guys have built something that the more cards that are graded, the more graded guards are needed. So it's almost, I don't want to call it necessarily a self-sustaining demand, but it seems like you've got other companies that you don't have to pay for that are sort of generating demand for you, which is really
sure.
great. Um, and when you first started, like you said, you kind of started doing the prep work and everything like that. I'm really curious how you were able to distinguish yourself from. I mean, you had to have known that there were going to be copycats that came after you. Like once you kind of started seeing a little bit of success, I mean, I equate it to, again, phone cases. That's a
Yep.
really good comparison. It's like you can go and buy one from an AT&T or Verizon store, or you can go
Hmm.
on Amazon and buy every single cheap
Yeah.
version possible. Was there any conversation in the beginning about that? Or I guess if and when there was, when was that? Like once you guys started seeing some other companies maybe pop up, or maybe you saw some
Sure.
market penetration, like what did that look like?
So I think for us, especially early on too, there were plenty. I say plenty, but it's probably just a handful, right? But it feels like plenty when you're deep in the space.
Mhm,
Of other companies that were doing similar products or just trying to break into the display space in general, right? I would say about 4 to 5 years ago, this was all still very early and it
mhm,
still feels early to this day, right? Like we've seen quite a few companies kind of like come up, some that are no longer with us, but some, that are still thriving. And honestly, the conversation about quote unquote how to handle or how to deal with like copycats or similar, it wasn't ever really fully on the radar, right? Because in our minds, like the best thing we can really do is just keep executing, right? Because we're dealing with, insane demand, we're dealing with the growth of grading. um, Anything and everything just realigns back to us with like opportunity and partnerships that we're working on, right? So shifting any level of focus into dealing with, copycats or what other people are doing kind of doesn't really move the needle for us when we have so many things on the roadmap. And so, I mean, pretty early on, like we were aware, but awareness is pretty much like what we kept it at, right?
mhm.
Like we don't really, really feel the need to do anything beyond that. And to your point too, and I guess my initial point is, if you look at the phone case market, if you look at other similar consumer products on the market, naturally once something is proven out, right, like there will be other iterations, there will be other companies. I personally love that there is more competition now, right? Just because it's more market validity, right? Like
Mm,
at one
like high
point you could
tides,
say,
all ships
yeah,
rise, that type of
yeah, and
mentality.
yeah, because at one point you could argue that like, hey, if it's just GradedGuard and two other companies mainly running the show, is it really a real thing yet, right?
Mm,
And I think over time, people, our customers, the community in general, and the collecting community has proven this to be a thing, and I'm happy about it, man. You know, you said sometimes you just think about it and you're like, whoa, like it's a crazy level of impact. But to be honest, like especially our team, we're always so heads down, right? Like there's so much work to be done that sometimes it's hard to take the moment to pause and be like, oh, cool, like this is what we're doing versus just keep going, guys. There's a lot of fun stuff left to do. So yeah, I mean, to basically net it out, like we're aware, we've been aware since the beginning, but you know, we're gonna keep doing whatever it is we're gonna do.
well, it's also one of those where, it I don't wanna say you can't afford to slow down, but it is one of those things you definitely don't wanna take the foot off the gas because there
Sure.
are, obviously, there's a lot of people who want to be the next graded guard or kind of usurp, what you guys have done, and I think one way that you guys have really built a lot of staying power is I mean, first off, I think your marketing arm is fantastic. Like, I
Thank
love
you.
whoever came up with the idea of the fit your card in the guard before it comes out. Like, it's such a simple thing for people to
Yeah.
do, but and
Yeah, stay
I'll
tuned for a
say,
better version of that coming real soon, like real soon.
okay, exclusive. It comes out tomorrow. It was announced here. That's what I'm gonna say.
Close enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm excited. I mean, that's the type of things and sort of the ingenuity I think that's really, kept you guys sort of on top, as you've continued to
Sure.
grow. Because I think, especially when you sort of get into like, consumer products in this, it's I think one thing a lot of people sort of like take their foot off the gas on is the brand building because they mainly
Yeah.
focus on product efficiency. And, I've seen a lot of other, you know, kind of companies that make guards or whatever you want to call them,
Sure.
that their main focus is here's the specs and here's kind of the feature
Mhm.
set that we've put into the product, and it sort of goes back to like Steve Jobs is, in my opinion, probably the greatest salesperson that's ever lived, right? Like in his whole thing,
Pretty great, man. Pretty great.
yeah,
As I sit
not to
here
go
on
on
my
a
MacBook talking to
yeah,
you, right?
well, even not to go on a tangent, but we're about the same age. I mean, if you remember like the iPod Shuffle, right? Like his engineers created it and said, there's 1,024 megs in here and all this memory, and he was like, let's
Yeah.
just say we've got 1,000 songs in your pocket or something. And like I feel like that's really what probably the adjacent line I would draw to Graded Guard. You guys are really just like, hey,
Yeah.
here's our brand, here's our look, here's whether it be a limited drop or like you said, a brand partnership. I saw you guys just did that with CGC with their
Yeah,
standard tier,
that
I
was
think it
awesome.
was.
It was pretty
Very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Had you done anything like that with like PSA or anyone else before? I know you guys do a lot of
Uh,
different
yeah,
partnerships,
that was
but
our first grading company activation.
okay. How
Yeah.
did that I'm curious how that came about. Do you guys kind of seek out these partnerships? Is it always something that's sort of on your radar, I guess?
It's definitely something that's always on our radar, and we're in close communication with a lot of the higher level companies in the space. So wherever there's an opportunity after plenty of discussion, we try to nurture it and figure out cool things to do together because I'm sure you've seen it too. Like our eBay collab was super successful and
Mhm.
awesome as well. And these are all the first of more to come, right? Like we really do want to promote more fun activations and being aligned with other companies in the space. And it's like you said, the focus on brand and positioning and aesthetic and community is kind of where we put ourselves versus like you said, it's not really about a spec sheet at this point, right?
Mhm.
And you could argue it's the same with say phone case brands, right? Like,
Mhm.
yep, most of them will protect your phone if it falls, right? But do you care more about what's printed on the phone case? Do you care more about the color, any level of exclusivity, etc.? So yeah,
Right.
we take a lot
People
of
would people
lessons
would just buy
from
black phone
a
cases if
lot.
they cared about protection only. So yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, and it's the same for us, right? Like, I mean, every time my wife and I get new phones, it's like, what is it this year, right? Is it like a clear case, because we like how the phone looks, or is it like a super colorful case, or like, do I need a case with some anime on the back to like represent? Like, it's different every time, and I like to think that's what we're providing as well, right? Like,
Mhm.
similar to how, you know, the Dragon Shields of the world offering so many different color sleeves and variants of sleeves so you can personalize your decks for play. All the companies that offer very personalized deck boxes, etc., right? We want to be that for this layer of the hobby, right?
Yeah.
So, it's as long as I feel like we're serving our community, the collecting community at large, I think we're doing right by people. So,
Yeah, I agree, and I think, one thing, it's sort of funny, there's no, I know that there's always, like, for example, GradedGuard Insider, right? Like, where it's just product
mhm,
updates and things like that. I don't know what that category is called with Instagram pages doing that. GradedGuard
yeah.
Insider is the only one that I have subscribed to and, like, I read. Like, it's like every time I
Sure.
get a message, it's sort of exciting because even if it's not necessarily like I'm going after every single, one of the drops or anything you guys do, it's always cool
Yeah.
to see people's reaction to it, and it's always cool to kind of see what you guys are putting out there. And um, I love that you guys sort of expanded from like a simple core product that you stock all the time to doing things like limited drops, to doing these collaborations and kind of having actions in order to kind of acquire these items. And I think that's, from my collecting standpoint, anybody who's watched this channel over the last couple of years always hears this, is like I love having to do things to acquire items. Like I like to have an action, to be able to get those. So,
It's
um,
the collector mindset, right? It
yeah, the
lives and
treasure hunt.
breathes within all of us. Yeah, and the industry at large has done it for so many different products, collectibles,
Mhm.
etc. So, yeah, to that point, I'd say, like, I'd love it if people stay tuned because we have a lot of exciting things coming up along those lines. And, like you said, like, we do have many plans for the expansion of what we do in general. So, yeah, lots of fun things to come. And like, I think it stays exciting, right? Like,
Mhm.
we can get really hyper focused on a single launch, a single color, etc. And I know, depending on who you are and what card you're trying to guard and what you're into, like, that might feel like the most important thing at that moment. But I promise there are so many new things that we're going to do and so many more releases coming up. So, we want to keep it exciting in the same way Pokemon does, right? Like, there's always
Right.
something else to look forward to. We try to keep it fresh, bring back things when it makes sense, right? It it's an ever evolving and, like, it's very much a living thing. So, I think it's super exciting.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for you. I mean, that's one thing I think that you guys do a really good job at transferring is sort of that passion you guys have for it. And
Mhm.
not just the product, but also like the brand. Like it seems like you guys take feedback very well. Also, I mean, I've looked at, um, anytime you guys have a launch, I'm just like straight to the comments. Like I want to see what people are
That's fun.
saying. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's good and bad, right? Like you guys take it on the chin very well, but even some of the responses are just very. Um, I would say pretty much exactly how you'd want to respond to maybe either criticism or whether it be structural or not.
Sure.
I think it's something that you guys handle well, and I don't see a lot of brands, even outside of like the particular product space that you guys are in, that really focus on, again, brand identity and engaging with
Mhm.
the community in a certain way. Like it's simply here's our product and buy it.
Sure.
I'm curious, whatever you first started, kind of, you have your prototypes, like kind of a two-part question for you. One, whenever you first had your first guards in hand, V1, whatever that
Yeah.
may be, not a boys reference, by the way, for anybody who watches the show. You got V1. How do you how do you build out sort of that action plan to break into the market? Like who's your target customer? Like what are you doing to be able to start the scale volume?
Well, it's a good question because I'd love to say I was very, rigid business plan and, like, I had like total list of action items to start tackling. But we basically received our first shipment, and I say we very loosely, basically me and my wife at that
Yeah.
point, right? So, we received our first shipment very late 2021, and then going into the first months of 2022 was when a few people had talked to me and people I knew in the industry and just people around me in general said, "Hey, maybe check out some of these shows that are local to you in Dallas." It was after doing Collecticon for the first time in Houston, which I believe was their second show. and we
Mhm.
had just brought prototypes to show off to people, and I think we made a total of maybe like 5 sales, pre-sales there, right? Like, it
Mhm.
was very cute and very early. Uh,
What was the
but
feedback
af
though? I'm so curious at that time when there really wasn't anything out there. Like, were people kind
yeah.
of hand wavy? Were they just like, "Oh, another product trying to enter the space"? Because I mean, back then was a very different mindset in cards
Yeah.
than it is now. So I'm
Yeah,
so
20
curious.
2021 card culture was a lot different. The reactions, a lot of the people I met at that show, I'm still in contact with now, still do business with, which is awesome. But yeah, the reaction was pretty good, right? Everyone that took the time to stop and talk was like, "Huh, like this is interesting," right? Like,
Mhm.
it's different. We've never seen anything like this. We basically had our full color slate there, like of standard colors, just to show off the color matching and everything. And I mean, I the reactions were pretty positive, so I was excited to at least have product in hand. But the the overbearing reality of seeing that only like maybe 5 people were interested in like pre-giving you any money is like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of work to do
Well,
after
that's what I was
this.
yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head 'cause I'm so curious as someone who, you go through all the work to found it, design it, source it, get it manufactured, get it to you. You go to the first show. I can imagine in your brain, you're like, "This
Hmm,
is gonna make such a splash." Like, there's gotta be some sort of optimism in there, right?
there
How did you feel
definitely
walking away 5
definitely
sales
some
in?
optimism, but with the pre-sale shot, I'm like, well, maybe it's because we don't have it in hand. Maybe there's like all these other things that need to be done. So, I mean, our first real show was the Dallas Card Show in January of 2022. And we rocked up, set it up, like one of my close friends and and I mean, it was amazing, right? Like, I knew like nothing really about
Mhm.
card show culture at that point. Card show culture was really just starting to take on its own life after COVID, right? And I learned a lot fast, right? From the people that I met, the types of collectors that I met. But we spent the show walking around, showing people, talking to everybody that walked up to the booth. We were in the very back corner of that show, like no
Which a Dallas card
visibility,
shows tough.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. All the fluorescent lighting, and you're in the back, and you're just like, oh man, is anyone even gonna walk back here? But like we still sold, I want to say it was a few hundred, right? And
That's really awesome.
I was like, this is a great start. Like,
Mhm.
I'm glad that we can communicate with people. I'm glad that it resonates with people who take the time to, get to know the product. So yeah, after that, it was basically for the next couple of years just being on the road every week or two at most, right? And it, like you said, the grassroots level of marketing was kind of the
Truly.
way for it to happen. And that's how I, met more people that still work with us now, how I met future business partners, etc. But thankfully, like we had talked about earlier, being involved in the hobby since, like the mid 2010s really does help because I knew a lot of people already, and
The
I was
relationships.
able, yeah,
Mhm.
easily able to reach out to people, tons of early supporters of the product that were just friends of mine in the hobby in general. So yeah, I liked it. It really is the right time, right place, right people, etc. It's not all just like, oh, like perfect plan and go out and execute. There's a lot of luck involved, and I think I was just ready at that time with like my network and with
Mhm.
the level of effort we were willing to put into, being at a show almost every weekend, flying around the country, just setting up and spreading the gospel basically is what it felt like. But it was awesome, man. Like, it just felt very organic and fun. And for so many years it felt like almost every customer was a new customer. And
That's
like,
a
that's a
good
feeling I can't replicate now, right? Like, it's
mhm.
different now. But it was awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
I truly loved the feeling, and I loved when people came to the booth and spent time, and we're looking at their like 10 to 20 slabs, and we're just color matching, and it's a good vibe, right? Like, you want people to leave your booth happy, you want them to feel like they gained something. There's no element of like, oh my god, do I rip this? Oh my god, like, is this gradable, etc., right? It's just pure, hey, do you love your Rayquaza? Probably looks good in this black case or this green case. Like, let's
Right.
try it out. Maybe we highlight the pink in the background. So yeah, I'm big on aesthetics, dude, and I'm big on like personalizing your collection. So I really
Well,
just tried to get that into other people's minds too.
that's a good way to put it. I would say that buying a graded guard for a slab is probably the least amount of friction in today's like card hobby. Like I
Until
love
it's a
to like
contention point in a deal, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. It's like you're always getting a hit, and you're buying the hit that you want, and it's all mint condition, which is great 'cause it's coming out of a box. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's a funny comparison. I'm curious too, because I love the idea of going from like 5 pre-sales and then hitting a show and selling a few hundred. Like that's not to mention that the more you're scaling, the more people are advertising for you unbeknownst to
Sure.
them. Because it's sort of like, um, as people see, it's like companies give out free swag, right? Like they'll give out like umbrellas or they'll give out stickers and stuff like that. And you think like, oh, they made this for me. That's great. It's like, no, you're supposed to put that somewhere so people can go, what's this company? Or, what
Sure.
is that? So I'm sure there were a lot of conversations in those early days, especially once vendors started putting them in cases where it's like,
Yeah.
what is that? What slab is that? Oh, wait, it's got a PSA label. Like, what is this thing? So you almost created sort of boots on the ground marketing by default, just by being able to acquire those first, 100,000, 10,000 customers, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm curious when you were kind of tossing around ideas, was there ever conversations once you kind of saw that success to think like, let me clarify this. So I feel like sometimes when people have a successful product, they immediately are like, what other SKUs can we add? Like that seems to be like, we did it with this one, we're going to strike lightning twice, and we're going to do it with this. Was there ever any other conversations around like other types of products that didn't apply to like graded cards? Like, I mean, one of the things that I think all of our DMs are destroyed with are people trying to sell me plastic cases for booster boxes. Like, it's
we,
constantly like,
we
I'm the
we
best
get those
supplier
too.
ever.
We still get
Yeah,
those. And
yeah,
we've visited like, plastic manufacturers, acrylic manufacturers and everything, and we're still getting DMs from some of the ones we've physically been to
yeah.
because it's a good sales strategy, right? Like you never know who
Mhm.
you hit if you spread it wide. But at least for us, and I credit a lot of the people that I work with at a high level for this. I'm probably the most trigger happy, super excited to like I'll add like 500 SKUs to the list if it means you can have like a Pantone slate of colors, right? Like
Yeah.
I would love that, but from a business perspective and from a company perspective, like we try to stay grounded in what's realistic and what we can execute on, what we can, provide towards a multifaceted type of customer list now, right? Because it's our online retail, it's our wholesalers, it's our hobby stores, it's streamers, it's people in person, and now it's like hobby stores for like the launch of Guava, right? Like
Mhm.
supporting people who are going to physically show up and like how
I
can we
I
make
love
that
that, by the
exciting?
way. I feel like
It's I
LGSs have been sort of like so swept to the side with everything that's going on with
Yeah,
like distros, obviously, as you know about, and the big Sam's Club and like Costco type stuff. Like they're really pushing them to the side. So seeing you sort of pay that homage back to like kind of probably what got us all into cards initially. We've all
yeah.
been in an LGS at some point, and to be able to give them sort of a way to drive traffic. I mean, respect to you guys. That's you definitely didn't
Well,
have to do
thank
that,
you.
but that's very cool that you
Yeah,
guys did.
and we have a lot more coming for that like type of product, right? Like we want to support the LGSs. A lot of them were key components of our initial growth, initial believers in the line. But I guess just to answer your question, lots of discussions about what could be added, plenty of discussions on how certain launches and executions of additional SKUs could have been better. We're always learning as well. Where it's a net new space as far as I'm concerned. So
Mhm.
I tackle it every day as something new and exciting and like different. And we have the ability to be creative where, you might not if you're entering a very established space, right? Like how do you compete doing, I don't know, picture frames? Like that might be a lot harder because things have been done a certain way and distribution is set up a certain way, right? So we can be creative. I will say now, especially as we continue to discuss and are continuing to evolve our product line, our brand, we are very, very involved in figuring out like what the next thing is, and they're not light decisions
Mhm.
anymore, right? There are a lot more people involved. The company has grown, and we want to make sure, like you're saying, like we can service everyone, right?
Right.
It's like, if we release this product, is there a way to support it from a hobby store perspective? If we release this type of product, like, are we doing exclusives with X company, X store, etc. So everything's pretty thoughtful and planned out now. So I do think, there's a lot of fun stuff in the, coming few months leading into the end of the year. So hopefully, hopefully what I'm saying now will ring more true in about, who knows, 2 months, 3 months, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll clip it. And I'll just be like, I told you guys. He said
Flip it
something
and
was
it's like,
coming.
oh,
Figure
that's
it out.
what it was. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's so cool with because one of the things I talk about a lot when, I'm doing streams or I'm talking to people is sort of the relationship building and kind of establishing those relationships in the card community or just collecting space in general, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
Because this is not, and anyone who subscribes to this channel knows this is not a large channel at all, like comparatively to a lot of channels that are out there that, get hundreds of thousands of views of video, things like that. But
Sure.
I've definitely had a lot of people on, in the past, including yourself. I mean, I've had really big content creators who have 20, 30 million subscribers on YouTube who, for some reason, climb down the mountain and come and talk here. But that's like one of those things that I think the relationship building, non-transactional first, and then eventually working together, I think is so important. Like you said,
Sure.
you still talk to a lot of those people, pre-GradedGuard, Rise and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important to kind of keep that authenticity because people tend to trust you, and I think they'll continue to support you. Versus, I think in 2026, what we're seeing is, and we'll probably continue to see more. There's a lot of outside. There's institutional money for sure, but there's a lot
Sure.
of people who come in from the outside, from other spaces or just not collectible spaces, who just want to come in and, hey, I've got boatloads of money. I'm just going to make a huge splash in here. And I don't
Yeah.
think anybody's really done that successfully at all. Like maybe they've bought up a bunch of cards, but that's not really, there's no barrier to that. But I think that is one thing that we do have in the collectible space that is so important, is that people
Yeah.
can't just break in unless they have sort of a reputation or like, am I familiar
Sure.
with you? Like, who are you? There's just a trust level with people who have been in as long as we have, which I still feel like I'm like
it's
newer to this, which is crazy.
it's not even, yeah, it's not even as long as, people who've been grading since 2000, right?
Yeah,
1999, basically.
yeah. Sports
You know,
guys are like, you guys are talking about 10 years. Like, what do you mean here? Like, I was serial number 3 with PSA and all of that. So
shout out to the OGs. I've got a lot of friends, and there's plenty of public friends too that we all know. It's like, Gary showing off his like earliest subs, right? We're looking at it, we're like, dang man, like
remember the zero
it's so
search?
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
zero certs, and I'm over here nostalgic for $20 standard submissions that come back in
Oh
two
man.
weeks, and that's still late, right, compared
Mhm.
to what it was before. So yeah, those were good times. I've let go of plenty of cards that I was like, well, if I had held it till now, that'd be cool. But I have no regrets, of course.
Yeah.
Like I'm more than grateful and thankful for the position that like the company is in, the people were able to support, at least on our side, the customers were able to support. It's Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man, honestly. Like, getting to have these conversations makes you kind of recenter on it a bit, and then you think,
Mhm.
wow, I mean, it's an impact you can't really have as an individual, right? So
Mm.
I'm grateful for the team, I'm grateful for the community, and yeah, it's definitely something else.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, especially with what you guys have built, because it's hard to be unique, I think, in collectibles nowadays. So it's kind of, and I don't even, obviously there was a kind of a first to market advantage, I think, for you guys, kind of, or maybe not true first, maybe there was some other
Sure.
stuff out there, but first brand true to market, like for that. I don't think that's really the only thing that has kind of helped your guys' success. I think it's that, like you said, you're very particular on the people you've brought onto your team. Obviously, you've got a wife who kills packaging, so that's also
Kills it.
plus
Kills
one
our
for the wife.
design. Just
Yeah,
destroys it every time.
plus EV for sure. But it's been great to kind of see. really the overall brand, and you keeping those relationships going, and being able to engage in the hobby in just such a different way than I'm sure you expected. Because like you said, like we've all like kind of started back. Oh, let me grade this. Oh, maybe I have a
Yep.
childhood collection. I'll start. Hey, I'm making a couple $100. What? This is crazy. Which, by the way, price memory, I don't feel the same. I do regret some cards that I've sold quite a bit, but it's hard. I have to stop looking at like what things are worth in 2026.
I have all of my old pictures, and it's something. I can go as far back as when I flipped a few booster boxes back in college. I got lucky, and like there were a few stores around me that were closing, and I would always monitor eBay, but I still remember it very, very vividly. Getting in like 2010, I got lucky and got like a few base set boxes for $150, and at the time they were like $400, right?
Right.
So
They're just
I
liquidating at that point.
and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh baby, $250 a pop, like this is the life. Like I can do something with this." And for anyone who knows me a bit more personally, around that time I was collecting a lot more just toys and plushies, not really
Mm,
cards. I mean, like the magic card behind me being one of
love
the
it.
remnants of that era. It's like from which Pokemon Center is Magikarp and Gyarados? Is that Hiroshima? I'm not
Uh,
sure.
it's I don't think it'd be Tokyo. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I want to like channel Swolpoke right now because he knows all of the Pokemon
Yeah,
Center
yeah.
references.
Jeremy would be like, dude, it was that year at that Pokemon Center. Like, how do you not know? Another early friend in the hobby too. So
Yeah,
I love
Jeremy's great.
Jeremy.
One of my first people I met who like in this space just from the love of what he was posting in his collection, and like he was
Yeah,
one of the first people who came to this channel actually, which is I wish he would
I
do more
be-
YouTube.
I believe Jeremy was one of our first 50 customers. So
How
I can
cool.
remember that much clearly.
He's a great guy.
um,
Somebody needs to pay him mountains of money to just be the auto guy for all companies at this point. Like
sure,
his
sounds good to
knowledge
me.
base is amazing.
But yeah, no, it was. I mean, yeah, I was just flipping a few things, and I really enjoyed collecting plushies back then, rare plushies, lottery prizes from Japan, and things like that. But yeah, eventually getting into cards, man. I've got pictures of silly things, and I look back on it every once in a while. The most recent one was, yeah, I definitely sold a PSA 10 first ed Neo Lugia for $2,000. Yeah, that was
The come up was real back then though. I
yeah,
remember grading my childhood collection. Two of my actually their first two cards I ever graded with PSA was my first edition Shining Gyarados, got a PSA 9, early four cert, and
dang
then in the
beautiful.
same sub I graded my White Star 1998 birthday Pikachu, and it came back at 10.
The
And
Japanese, wow, yeah.
I sold that for I think $1,200, and then I sold the Gyarados. This one is probably the one that hurts the most. I think I sold it for $330, and I was like, "The come up is real." Like you said, it's so easy. I'm making too much money. This is
Yeah,
amazing. And
that's
then
how it
you
felt
get
for me too. Yeah, I had a PSA 10 shiny first ed Magikarp at 1.2, which was what, like $100 raw eBay purchase that turned into
yeah,
that. Yeah, ooh man, yeah. I've moved I've moved on from so much of the Pokemon grails as far as what I'm personally collecting.
mhm.
So I have my blinders on for a lot of it. I'm aware of it, but I'm just like, oh my goodness, Pokemon's going a little crazy. So I'll stick to my little more niche things now for me. So
And honestly, I feel like you kind of have to get there because I'm similarly, it's like sure, there's a couple of like sealed stuff and things like that I've got, but like usually it's just like for example, Ascended Heroes. Like I love the look of the CTV. It's like one of the best looking
I love
ETBs I've
Ascended
seen.
Heroes. I
It's
love
and
Ascended
I
Heroes.
think I've only opened like a booster bundle, so I'm like, it's
Yeah,
literally I like the sealed. And then for like cards, it's just like rare Japanese promos, and then I have some comics that I bought. I'm a big zombie fan, so I have like the Resident
that's
Evil
awesome.
Marvel crossover, some 28 Days Later stuff, some graded VHSs, like just stuff that I like, for that
Yeah,
stuff. Because if I try to go after everything that I want in Pokemon, it's like I wouldn't be able to afford graded cards. You know what I mean? So like the price
it's
is just too
it's
much.
an endless pursuit. But one of our philosophies, and I hold true to this, just because of how many people we've interacted with, and like kids that we've met, right? Like new collectors and seasoned collectors, of course, right? Like we want it to be kind of something that aids you in your collecting journey or just makes
Mhm.
you happy alongside it, right? I'm pretty grade agnostic and I don't really feel the need to care as much, right? And
Mhm.
any card that comes to our booths is just another nice card that can be personalized and enjoyed by whoever is coming to talk to us, right? So I mean we've seen it all, right? Like
Right.
literally the highest of high end to just like normal commons, like PSA 5 common, like, does it really matter? In my opinion, no, right? Like,
No.
the whole point is to just enjoy it, and I'm glad that we can add a layer of enjoyment that kind of removes people a bit from, worrying about pricing and worrying about when you can sell something. Like, it
Mhm.
for us, it's like if you love how it looks and you can display it and proudly show it off and you love how it feels in the hand, like, that's everything to us, so,
Well, that's
yeah,
kind of the
it's
that's kind of
cool.
the benefit of it. Without a graded guard, you look at the label, but at least with a
Sure.
graded guard, you're looking at the guard part, right? Like, it kind of
Yeah.
takes away, like, that, "Well, what's the grade of this?" Like, because with the guards I have, I literally just I find myself swapping them out between slabs. I'm like, "I think this color is gonna go better."
Same.
I turn it upside down. I'm like, "Which one works? Does it flow good? Does it taper?" Like, all that. So, um, I think it's great. I'm curious too, especially in 2026. You guys have been at this for call it 5 or 6 years, however long it's been so far since you first kind of started with your version
Mhm.
ones. Um, have you been approached at this point to sell the brand? And do you think would you ever?
Um, Not really at liberty to discuss, but at
Sure.
the moment, the team and I are pretty happy with where we're at, happy with where we're going. So we're pretty focused on, building out relationships, building out the market, building out partnerships, and continuing to expand. So, yep, everyone's stuck with me.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. I just, as
No,
someone
thank
who
you.
works, sort of in the I know you were in the corporate world. I'm in the corporate world as well. And like I've built a few things. It's that's kind of always in my brain, right? Like somebody watches progress, and most people don't want to do the grassroots, going town to town, going state to state. But then they're like, "Oh, you're established. Cool. Here's a big check. I'm going to take this."
It's
So,
different, right? The conversations are definitely different now versus when, rock up to the random show in like the middle of nowhere in, let's say, Tennessee and sell like
mhm,
100 cases the whole weekend after
yeah,
spending a lot more than that to get there and be there
right,
and try to get it going for people. But yeah, it's I regret nothing, right? Like all of it
mhm.
was worth it. All of the long nights, weekends, early mornings, it really did pay off, and we're continuing to grow from that. So yeah, it's amazing, man. Like
Yeah.
we'll just keep going. We're gonna keep going.
I'm a big fan of watching sweat equity work. Like that's always really inspiring. I think for anybody seeing anybody build anything, it's like it's
Yeah,
one thing to come up with an idea and sort of rely heavily on like a marketing arm exclusively, and it's like okay, we grew because we got viral because that's kind of how things work nowadays. It
sure.
seems, but to really see it go from like you're literally meeting the first customer, you're meeting the first five, the first 100, the first 1,000, whatever that is, and then watching it sort of grow from there. And I love the line that you said. Um, it seemed like everyone you were meeting was a new customer. Like, I can't imagine,
Yeah,
like, how that probably feels at that point. It's like, "Oh, I heard about you guys," or, "Hey, what's this?" Like, because 'cause you're right,
yeah.
that's not happening. People know what graded guards are now, like, it's all over the
Not
internet.
yeah, not as much. Yeah, it's still, we still get those moments, and the team tells me too, right? There's always going to be someone net new to the hobby, which is why I think we always have to have that in mind, right? And we have
Mm,
to serve people in that way, the same way that we have for years. It's with the growth of the market, there's always going to be new people, right? And
mhm.
they need guidance. They need to understand kind of like what's popular right now and like how to protect yourself in the hobby and how to interact with people and whatnot. So yeah, we try to keep the ethos running the same way we always have because yeah, I mean they're kids too, right? Kids are new to the hobby, they're growing up in it. The hobby continues to change. Maybe they have no idea what to expect when someone is like, "Oh, the guard doesn't come with your card." So
So, okay, it's so funny. What a segue setup for me. One of the questions I wrote down for you, because I love the meme of, like, "Can you keep the guard?" Like,
sure.
is the guard included? Should the vendor sell the guard with the card when they display it?
To me, it's entirely up to however it was communicated and displayed. It's so hard to kind of blanket statement it, but I mean I will say it. I actually negotiated with someone last week for like a it was like a $50 card, and I was like, "Can I get it for 40?" And he said, "Sure, as long as the guard's not included." And
I love it.
it was an amber case, yeah, and I was like,
And
"Oh,
you know who you were?
yeah." No, yeah, no. So I was
Oh
like,
man,
"Oh,
that makes it.
I'm good." I was like, "I'm good. I don't need the guard. I'll take it for 40." So
I mean,
I
how?
mean, but I didn't find it necessarily a negative interaction, right? Like
Right.
I
It's
personally, I'm like,
memes more than anything.
yeah, I'm like,
Right.
cool. I love that you want to hold on to it. You want to put it onto a different card, you know, and like you kind of see it as being a synonymous thing. So
Mhm.
I mean, I'm pretty neutral, you know, like I'm happy for people to figure it out as they go. It's another part of the component of like, you know, in the collecting space, the art of the deal now. So
Yeah.
I do think it you know, whether we're present or not, it's added some level of complexity and some level of negotiating. So
Mhm.
beyond just adding something for people, it's like now it's part of deals and how
Part of the
people
sale
interact
process.
with deals. Like, and I mean, I think that's cool, right? I think it's cool as long as people can figure it out. So
Yeah,
there's my answer.
I love it. No, it's I mean, what a funny story. And for you to have your products be used as sort of a, "Hey, I'm putting value on this so you can have the card without it." Like, I love that you got to experience that of all people, and with
it
someone
was
not knowing who you are. Because if I saw
it
you and I
was
was like,
fun.
yeah, I'm like, "Hey, let me," "I'm gonna give Ben this card." I'm like, "By the way, I'm keeping the guard." Like, that would be funny to do, but, like, for there to be such an
As a
organic
meme.
experience, yeah.
It was a purely organic transaction. Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I'm glad I got to kind of deal with it myself.
Live the meme. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, no, that's funny. Yeah, literally one of the questions I wrote for you was like, "Can you keep the guard?" It's actually when Sora was a thing, so it's gone now. I played around with it. One of the videos on my Instagram is it's me at a vendor table and someone asking me, "Can I keep the guard?" And I'm like, "You can't." And I just ripped the entire card up.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
So because I was just like vendors in 2026 or something, I think is what I said. Because it does add. I mean, that's one thing that I've noticed, especially when you start looking at high end. I mean, you get your, well, I guess Ken Lee has more of sealed, but like to that level of like you're really bringing like a showcase booth more than
Yeah.
anything.
Another
The
close friend
guards.
of ours.
Oh yeah, Ken Lee's he's great, and local to us as well.
Yep.
Uh, when you get more of kind of the showcase vendors, like that is part of the presentation. Like
Yeah.
it's even if they're bringing things out to sell, it's like it's hard for me to remember back when it was just clear plastic slabs in cases only. Because now it's like
It's
people have these whole themes that they're doing with it. Like they have their whole color
yeah.
palette. They really think about it, and um, I just think it's one of the coolest things that's hit the market. Honestly, for what
I
you're
love
doing.
that. Yeah, because when I first started, of course, when everything was new and I was just selling slabs online, right? I wasn't
Mhm.
really like going to shows and setting up to sell them or understanding that culture yet. It's crazy to see the evolution. We used to like want to go spot the guards, right? Like, oh, like that vendor has like two in their showcase. But now, yeah, like it's definitely more prevalent. And like you
Mhm.
said, it's part of people's strategy, it's part of people's aesthetic and display. And you know, we've got companies creating things just to accommodate like graded guards, right? Like
Yeah.
naturally we've worked with Phantom uh to develop a product that fits the guards, and people are doing risers that fit the guards, and people are doing other displays, and I love that, right? It kind
Yeah.
of just evolves on its own, and you never really know where other people will take kind of like this industry, which is why I still say we're early, you know. There's
Mhm.
still a lot of exciting things that can be established and a lot of exciting products that are probably still yet to come, new companies that are probably still yet to come, right? Like I'm sure if we had this conversation in 5 years, we'd be like, oh, like that company popped up in the last like 5 years and
Why
did
didn't we
this for
think
the
of that?
hobby. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they did this for the hobby, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I love seeing it continue to evolve, man. Like it's been a really, really crazy like 4 to 5 years. So
Well,
it's
especially in 2026, I mean, everybody I speak to pretty regularly. Like I've got, obviously a close group, but then there's a lot of people I just talk to that DM me on Instagram, and I'm sure you do the same.
Yeah.
It's hard to it. I've never seen anything like this. Like to kind of quote a Rudy video, Alpha Investments, he put out, I think yesterday, or the day before. Like there really is no precedent for where we're at with collectibles at this point. So I feel like it's like I don't know how chart goes down at this point. Like it just almost seems like
What's the
self-sustaining.
playbook, right? Oh.
Exactly. And anybody who's like, "Yep, it's going to do this, it's going to do that," like all that's out the window. There is no precedent for this. Nobody can buy anything in the stores. Like it's kind of a crazy like it's just so different compared to when we just started. So,
Yeah.
but that being said, where my kind of less emotional side of that and more kind of logic business brain comes in is I'm like, so good for you guys, because the great thing is it's just simply riding success. Like again, I can't get over the fact, and this is how it's always going to view GradedGuard. I'm like, there will always be demand for guards as long as there's demand for grading, and demand for grading out of anything has gone like, I don't know, atmospheric. Like there's no way to really describe it. Like it's like, when I see like tags numbers going huge because PSA is so slow or so backed up, or like CGC
Sure.
made a big like jump. Everybody's sort of rising with these amount of cards that are coming out, and you guys kind of make something for everything, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something for everything,
amazing.
with more to come. That's kind of how we view it. Like you said, the grading market is not slowing down, so neither will we.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I've got like one or two more questions for you, and then chat, guys. Thank you for being here. I see there's a few questions from them, which I'll go through.
Sure.
One thing I do want to I wanted to throw out here, because I was kind of thinking, I was like, what is a cool thing that GradedGuard maybe hasn't done that would be cool to see? And one of the things I thought about, and you might have done this, so just I'm not fully
Sure.
PhD to the lore of everything, but I was like, it would be kind of cool to see something called like creator guards, where you pick a creator and say monthly or quarterly or whatever, they help design it, and then that's their like creator guard that's released to
Hmm.
like the public of whatever, however you guys want to do a drop. But I feel like that would be so cool to kind of see like more of the customization side, like with particular personalities and things like that. I don't
Sure.
know if you guys have
Yeah.
ever talked about that, if you've done that before, maybe like, but I said like created guards out loud the other day, and I was like, oh, that kind of has like a cool ring to it. I don't know.
It's in line with certain internal discussions, and I can leave it at that.
Okay. All right. I'm like poking holes in everything. It's like, yep, it's coming. It's on the way. I just feel like that would be such a cool, like, obviously people being able to customize their own guards anyway would be cool, like a made to order setup.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of sort of a themed like creator style, like
Sure.
a Leonhard, a Danny Phantom, like anybody like that. Obviously
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool to see their
Yeah.
taste and their kind of preferred design. But
Yeah. There's a
maybe
lot
I
of
feel
fun
like
stuff we're working on, and there's a lot of like basically every name you've named on the call, like we're
mhm,
close with them, we know them, or any level of that. So yeah, we always keep potential things like this in mind, right?
mhm.
So there, that amongst an endless like the Great Guard vision board is basically like a billboard, right?
It's
Like
two
it's
board, yeah, it's two boards now.
yeah, it's like 16 stories high, and it's like a high rise advertisement is what the vision board basically feels like. So,
I love
but
hearing it though. You got to constantly be talking about like what's next and how and optimizing at the same time. And I think that's so important.
yeah,
And it's
what's
great to
next?
hear.
Optimizing, operating. It's yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot, but it's
yeah.
great. It's great.
Well, what I'm going to do, man, I want to go through kind of a few direct comments, questions from everybody in chat. Guys, if you guys have anything else to ask them
Sure.
in, I'd love to be able to, to highlight these for you guys. But Daddy Donkey Kong, I like the
Thank
name. He
you.
says, love Graded Guard. Boondock says, what's up? Hey, how are you? Easily duplicated, never replicated. I
Ah,
like
I
it.
love that.
Your average player, UAP, always good seeing you. He said expensive, but I've become a heavy importer. I can't remember where UAP is located, but definitely not domestic. So you've got the international love coming from UAP. He said, as someone who does marketing, I'd love to have a convo with your team. They do a phenomenal job. They really do. They're amazing.
Reach out whenever. You never know.
They
We're
reply. They're one
pretty
of the brands that
yeah.
reply, guys.
We're pretty open for them, and we have a contact form. Reach out, and the appropriate parties usually end up replying. So
Yeah, you guys get back quick. It's great. Daddy Don Kong said, "When am I going to be able to track my
oh no.
GradedGuard collection on Collector?" As
Oh no.
funny as it is, it's kind of true, man. You've got a secondary market, so like, how do we get the API into Collector? Like, how do we set our prices now?
We sell cards for retail. That is what GradedGuard does.
I love it. I love it. You got to go bug Collector, Daddy Donkey Kong, and have them add in the API.
Those guys are great though. So we love the team at Collector.
Yeah, talk about another idea to hit the market and really ride that wave. Like there's so many of those out now, and I remember Collector was like the first one that I saw that I was like, oh, this is kind of legit. Like, you know, in the way they have their free tier where you can do so much, and then they've got the max tier that the subscription model business is kind of like really what I kind of have a little bit of expertise in. I'm like, man, that's exactly how you keep people with you. Like, that's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, UAP and the word gets around, reputation is everything. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
The hobby is very, very reputation.
100%. 100%. I'm trying to think of the guy. What was his name? Collectibles Guru. That's who I always think about when reputation comes out. He was the $30,000 Bulbasaur guy.
Crypto gang.
Yeah.
Those were wild times.
Yeah, not that he did anything wrong, but that kind of goes along with like what I was saying is people kind of sort of coming from the outside and sort of trying to like, I don't know, make their way in. Like that was meme to oblivion. And BBCE. I mean, talk about reputation like really mattering. I mean,
that was rough. Yeah. We got I still remember when that happened. That was rough.
Yes. Quilly said everyone shush Peek is back. Thank you, Quilly. It's always good seeing you, man. Peek, when PSA adds a guard after grading upon express and above. Oh, he's asking, I guess, when can we get that? Is this a 3 or 4 month? Is this coming soon?
These are all nice concepts.
I will say that is one thing that man, it must have been like at least a year or two ago. I remember talking to somebody and I was like, it's odd because I guess my evolution of like slabs has been I'm holding a raw card,
yeah,
you know, it's in a sleeve, okay, cool. Then I'm holding the slab and I'm like, oh, this is really dope. But then I started holding slabs that don't have sleeves on them, and I'm like, this kind of feels like a little like, you know, not protecting, right? And then now it's like, unless it has a GradedGuard on it, like I'm not like, it doesn't feel correct in my hand. It feels like fragile. It doesn't feel like it's something that I've got. So I was talking about this a year or two ago with, you know, a few people, and I was like, how cool would it be if there was something like that partnership, like where you could add like, and I think I started with like PSA, like you add a sleeve to your slab or like whatever it may be, but then like adding a GradedGuard, it's kind of cool. Like, and I mean, obviously you guys would probably love that because it's like, oh wow, how many cards are they grading again? Like, yeah, we're gonna make that happen. But
we love the idea of any level of being synonymous. So, like as it stands, it's already pretty great. We love the association that people have when they see their cards, or we of course have customers that will buy cases from us without even having a card in mind, and I love that personally, right? It's like, hey, if the color looks nice, like there's probably some card out there that I would love to pair with this. And yeah, and I mean, I personally love that. I think that's a pretty exciting way to do it. It makes it fun, it makes it collectible for people. So yeah, I mean, we'd love it. We love anything that pushes more towards like being totally synonymous. So but of course, you know, as we build out the brand, we're pretty happy with where we are for the level of recognition and, you know, the level of community support. It's been, I mean, it's just been crazy.
Yeah. I would say I'm a bit guilty of that because I know when I bought which by the way, your Halloween release, that's what the big case
yeah,
is.
Trick or Treat, so fun. Yeah.
That was I love the idea of like a case of guards, and like I've used like 4 out of the case or something, but because I know there's going to be cards that I like will use, and I have the you probably appreciate this. Let me grab this. So this was the quote unquote error
Yep.
version of
But it looks nice there.
it
It
looks
does look
great.
nice.
What did they call this? The pineapple or something? Like, was the joke of like the
Yes, that
pineapple
was the
there?
meme.
Yeah,
Pineapple. Yep.
because it was cotton candy. Was it was supposed to be, or which
It was a
color?
pumpkin. Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but how? Like, this is like one of my most prized cards,
I
and I'm
mean,
like,
it's a
this
nice
fits the
card.
vibe
I
so
love that
much.
card.
The 2004, and it's got the stamp. You couldn't see it, but the yellow kind of really brought everything out. And I remember putting it on, and I think it was like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 days later or something. People were like, "What is this? What's going on?" And then I saw people thinking like me. They were like, "Well, I actually kind of like this like
Like
pineapple."
like I mentioned, we're not perfect, and we did our best to, make it right as soon as we could. Like it
Yeah, you guys did great. I mean, I couldn't believe that you guys went to the ends you did to like replace and do all of that and track orders. Like it's truly like it kind of reminded me of Z&G. James,
Yeah,
whenever he
I
was,
remember I remember that whole
yeah, the playtest cards, and he just went out of his
the
way to be like,
debacle.
my
Yep.
rep means everything, and this is what I'm going to do. And I feel like you guys follow the same suit. And these are the type of people that I love to know in this community and love to follow and support because it just means so much. And unfortunately, it's a rarity a lot of the time. But,
It's okay. We'll push for more of it.
yeah,
Like we want a healthy, positive community here. Everybody, listen.
yes, 100%.
Like cards are great. Oh,
Connor,
I'll show
what
one of
Pokemon?
my cards since you had yours.
Yeah, let's see it.
I
Let me
have
get
this is
you.
one of my favorites.
Let me put you in here.
One of my
Oh, the
favorites. It's
7-Eleven,
a
dude. The 7-Elevens are
set.
like,
It's a 7-Eleven promo, and it's a miniature card. Most people haven't seen
oh,
this.
that's cool. Actually, I didn't even put that together.
Yep. So it's a non-standard size. It's tiny. This
It
cute
is. It
little
is.
thing.
I was thinking like, wow, that's a huge slab or graded card. But
I
then yeah, it
know.
makes
Yeah,
sense
I'm
because
not fully sure how they were distributed, if I'm being honest, but I guess by a lottery, and the other two starters are available too. But yeah, I mean, I have other random stuff too. Got Guy
let's see it.
Fieri.
Let's see it.
We got Guy
Is this
Fieri
guy?
PSA 10.
I
Yep,
love it.
From Allen and Ginter. We have Emma Watson from
Oh, the
the
Hermione.
Prisoner. Yeah, the Prisoner of Azkaban art box set back in '04.
Connor
Got,
Rock
let's see.
Pokemon will love this part.
We have the Wally Superfractor from 2024 Disney, and one of my new favorites, the Enchanted Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, the Lorcana cards are always one like I thought
That's
about.
so beautiful. They're
They're
so beautiful.
I wanted to buy. So I have three daughters, so I wanted to buy the Enchanted Elsa, and I just was like, oh, I can't pull the trigger on that. That seems like a lot. And then like 2 months later, I was like, man, I really can't pull the
Now it's a
trigger now.
lot, a lot.
Yeah, and then but then it kept going, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I have my option, but then also that kind of defines like what kind of Q4 25 and obviously 2026 have been. It's like if you're
Oh
gonna buy
man.
it, you need to buy it now. Like that's it.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll show you in this one, this is what I put the year of the horse in. Again, big zombie guy.
Oh, that's
So
great.
this is the 1998 Resident Evil card set, which no
Dang.
one probably knows anything about.
98.
98. So this was this was a
That's
one
cool.
per case, and it's supposed to have an auto by Jim Lee. But what's funny is they never put the autos on the card. Like there's not a single one that has the auto. But I put the year of the horse.
Sounds about right.
It's like Jim Lee signs everything, but then all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But
I love
um,
random card lore like that though. It's like just
yeah,
so typical that like things
yeah.
like that will happen, and then only like 20 years later will someone appreciate that like something went wrong there.
Yeah. Well, like trying to look up some of these old card games. I mean, if you know PK Pokey Knowledge, like him and I could talk for hours and have in the past on these like very niche, like, oh, remember they released this, and this was one of those where I was like, I never put a guard on this card because I was like, I don't really have a colorway for it. Like everything's got a sparkly purple, green, like it doesn't really fit the whole theme. And then what's funny is I bought Year of the Horse and didn't even remember what the guard looked like. I just love the packaging so much, and I was like, I just want that. So yeah, when I took it out, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this
Yeah.
fits perfectly.
It's a
Pop
fun one
2,
for
PSA
sure.
9, highest
That's so
pop.
cool. That's so cool.
Only worth what I would probably pay for it at this point, but
That's how I
it's a cool
feel
card.
about half of the things that I am PCing. Is it's worth what I was willing to pay for it. But
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to see how kind of out there you can get.
yeah,
Because besides these things, I still have a pretty expansive Piplup collection. That's like
that's
my
cool.
main PC. Like is PSA 10 Piplups, but it's getting harder and harder to find them, and
Hmm.
a lot of them are Pop 1 or Pop 2, and I have a lot of the Pop 1s, but I can't necessarily get people to part with their Pop 1s or their Pop 2s, so it's like
Yeah,
we're at odds, and like it's just kind of
you're already you're already
stagnant.
lucky to find them at that point, and then it's
Yeah,
like
but
then getting them to good cards.
I still have my first slab I ever bought, which was in 2017. So it
Oh,
was
that's
a
cool.
PSA 10 first edition Japanese Latias Gold Star
I don't.
for the
Oh
right
man,
price of $600 is what it
no,
was at that
it's
time.
so crazy to think about. It's like what I can't remember. Probably some of my Worlds cards were some of the first ones. Usually 2005, Tropical Tidal Wave, Tropical
Yep.
Wind. Like that was really what I started hunting back then, and that's where I started. Not PSA 10s, obviously, but um, I graded a lot of them and then bought some eights and nines because that's about what you can get. But
Good
the '04
times. Good
Tropical
times.
Wind I had, which is still, if you go to PSA's website and go to the 2004 World Championships, this card scan they have at the top is my card I
Mhm.
graded because
Oh, that's awesome.
I had the
That's awesome.
'04 top 16 in PSA 10. It was a pop three, still is a pop three. Ended up moving it because I was like, I can't say no to this amount of money. Like I need to make it happen. But this
Sure.
was a buy that I bought just late last year and bought it raw and graded it. And it came back in 9, and it's still the
Hey,
stamped version, still the English. So I was like, all right,
that's nice.
I got my PS or my PC item, for that. So
The hole in the void is filled, so you're good.
yeah.
You're good.
And now everything else I get is just dust. It's like, what is cool? What do I like? Like moving modern stuff to pay for it is fine with me. And then everything else I keep
Sure.
is just like, here's this weird niche thing that I really love. So
This is what keeps
um,
it fun. There's so many different ways to collect, so many different things to collect. I love what all of the card games are putting out right now. It's crazy.
mhm.
Like
The
the
quality of stuff is insane, and
artwork's going
the
insane, like chases are going insane. Like I
yeah,
think it's cool, man. It's it's
I
it's a
can't wait
good
to see
time to
it.
be in the hobby.
I mean, to call this an asset class 6 years ago, you would have been a psychopath. Like,
Sure.
I mean, I'd be like, "Who are you, Scott Pratt? Like, what are you doing?" But now it's like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of a given." But
Like
um,
there is some institutional level interest here. So
oh, 100%. It has
beyond
been for a
now.
bit, but now it's like
Yeah.
a whole different
It's
ball
very
game.
public facing.
Yeah. Well, man, dude, this has been such a great conversation. Like,
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming on, man. I love being able to hear again the growth story. I love that, like, I love your collector mindset. I love the business mindset. I love that you still kind of have the passion and like hopefully, through conversations like this, it's kind of one of those moments you mentioned that are few and far between where it's like, okay, like the impact we've made, like what we've been able to do. Cause I know you are such a busy guy and like again, like we spoke about pre-stream, like you're about to like basically live on the road here for the next like, few weeks and months. And
The
um
usual.
yeah, exactly. So I just want to tell you from someone who respects the whole business aptitude that you've been able to do and the growth. I'm also a fan, and I just love what you guys
Much
have built. And
appreciated. Thank you.
you've injected something that I think is you sort of injected a passion into collecting that I think is it's sort of rare nowadays to have outside of
Sure.
like, oh, I have a high grade or it's worth this much. Like you've really kept something that's not necessarily the monetary focused asset, in this. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for keeping it going.
No, thank you.
It's been great, speaking with you. And chat, guys, thank you so much for the questions. Thank you for everything.
Thank you,
Min,
everybody.
GradedGuard links are all in the description here, guys. Thank you again for coming back and hanging out and enjoying another great conversation. I don't have I've got like 4 or 5 people that I need to get scheduled dates with. So the next one will probably come up, knowing me, 3 or 4 weeks, guys. We'll have another great person on to talk to, but show Min some love, show GradedGuard some love. It's a wonderful company. So, Min, anything
Thank
you
you,
want to
man.
leave the people with?
Um, just a thank you, right? Yeah. Thank you to everyone for continuing to support. We're gonna continue to support back, and yeah, just stay tuned for more exciting stuff from us.
Yeah, look at everything exclusive he dropped in this conversation coming in, the next few weeks,
Who
and
knows
tag
what's
me.
coming? Yeah, so many things.
Well, cool, guys. We're going to end the stream now, and then, man, we can chat here for a couple minutes before we jump. Thank you,
Sure.
guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.